Right, hi guys, and welcome back to the Mini Auction, and welcome back to an update on my Formula E collection. So, you may have noticed from the last time I did one of these, which was a couple of years ago now, there seems to be a lot more on this left-hand side. That's because the Season 9 and Season 10 cars from Spark have started to come out. I've got all of the Season 10 cars and the majority of the Season 9 cars. There's a couple I'm still waiting to pick up, which I'm hopeful will come soon, but I'm not 100% sure when, so I thought I may as well do an update video now, and then obviously as the more cars filter through, we've got a chance to do another update as well. There's a couple new additions on this side as well, in particular a Stoffel Van Dorn champion car from Season 8, and the two Season 6 cars of Jean-Eric Verne and Antonio Felix da Costa from the Techeetah team. So we'll go through the entire collection as a whole, for those that didn't see the previous iteration of this, and also just to remind you what I've got in the collection. So we'll start off up here, of course, where we have the Lone Ranger of just the one, Sebastian Buemi, of Season 2, that would be, wouldn't it, when he was Season 2 champion, I think that was, and then into Season 3, with the three different drivers there of the Dams car that year. One of those is Pierre Gasly. Can you believe that, eh? Can you believe that? Crazy, isn't it, to think that Pierre Gasly took part in a couple of Formula E races back in New York, wasn't it? Of course, Daniel Abt there and Lucas Di Grassi for the Abt Audi squad. A couple of Mahindras there, of course. Felix Rosenqvist and Nick Heifeld that year, I believe. And then the lovely chromed, they were the DS Virgins at the time, weren't they? That would have been Alex Lynn and Sam Bird, I think. Then the Techeetah squad, that would have been, who was that year? Sarazan and Verne, I think. There is a couple of duplicates behind as well, of course. Some of these teams had multiple drivers, as Formula E tends to do due to clashes with different championships and people running dual programs. But I've put the main two lead drivers out from each season out on display, and then the one-off guest drivers are at the back. Otherwise, I wouldn't have room for be able to display them all. Down to the Venturis. I love that alternate livery on that. Those are ace. I really do like those. And then down to... oh no, sorry, those are the Venturis, aren't they? So what? No, the Dragons weren't. Of course there were with the Dragons that year. Then down to the Venturis. And the Abt Audis again. I mean, look, it just shows you how the change of the Formula E over the years. You know, these were the Gen 1 cars. Obviously then the Gen 2, then the Gen 3, and now we're into the Gen 3.5 era with the four-wheel drive, so that's quite interesting. A couple of good races so far this season. I've really enjoyed the two races so far at time of recording, which was Brazil and Mexico. Eduardo Mortara there, and Thomas Eng. You always forget he was in it. Jan Maria Lopez in the Dragon. Alternate liveries again that time around. The Neos. And then last of the Gen 1 era cars that I've got on display, those are the Andrettis, of course, Sarazan and Da Costa. And then into Season 5 with the DS Techeetah cars there. The Audis once again. The Nissans. You'll notice that some of the Season 5 cars don't have helmets because they've not fully... Minichamps really struggled with the licensing for Formula E. I'm glad they've gone back to Spark because, yeah, Minichamps are having a mare with licensing for driver helmets and things. So there's a couple of the Season 5 teams that didn't get the full helmet approval. So they've got the cars with the numbers on, but no helmet to make them that much different. The Jaguars of Season 5, which was nice to see. The first time a Jaguar model was made for Formula E, apart from Oxford Diecast doing a tiny one, which I'll show you in a minute, from Season 3. Gary Paffett and, of course, Stoffel Van Dorn in the HWA Race Lab before they became the full Mercedes Works package, of course. And the Geox Dragons, Lopez and Felipe Nasr. Tom Dillman and, of course, Ollie Turvey in the Neos. And then we've just got one, I'm afraid, Eduardo Mortara Venturi. Never able to get the Felipe Massa, sadly, so that's the only car that I'm missing of Season 5, but I do have this now, which is Stoffel Van Dorn, Season 8, limited to 145 pieces. Very lucky to pick that up. His teammate De Vries, of course, from that year is on sale at the moment for about £300 on eBay. No, thank you. I'm not paying that much. But yeah, I'm happy to have that one. So basically, why I'm COVID hit, didn't it, as we know, for Season 6. So they released these two of Robin Freitz and Sam Bird, but then sadly COVID hit and they had to stop production and cancelled the rest of the series. However, they did agree that they would make the champions of each year going forward. So they made the champions of Season 6, which was, of course, the Techeetah squad of Jean-Eric Verne and Antonio Felix da Costa. So it was nice to see those done. They also did Season 7 then of the Mercedes, because it was De Vries and, of course, the Mercedes team that won that year. And then Season 8, of course, was once again Mercedes. And that's all they did. So I am missing a few models from those years, but again, they're very rare, limited to around 100 pieces each. If I find them, I find them. If I don't, I don't. I'm not going to lose sleep over them. It would be nice to teammate up the Massa, though. That's the one I'm definitely after. It's available in 1/18 scale pretty much everywhere and for really cheap, but to get a 143 version of Massa is impossible. So if anyone knows of one lurking around on the internet somewhere, then let me know, because I'm very interested in buying it. And it'd be nice, of course, to get the Season 8 De Vries to teammate that one up, but if it doesn't happen, again, not going to lose sleep over that one. Then we come over to Season 9, of course. So I've done these in the order they finished the Constructors' Championship in, not necessarily the team that won the drivers. So, of course, it was Envision that year. What a fall from grace they've had since that spectacular finish there that year of winning the Constructors' Championship. Followed by Jaguar, of course, a close run thing. But Envision came out on top that year. The Andretti squad, of course, with my favourite driver in the world, André Lotterer. Wow, what a absolute bottle job he was that year. Porsche, that was great to see the Porsche team included in the Gen 3 era. Again, Minichamps struggled with licensing. It was another company that made them for the the Season 5 cars. So I'll show you those. I've ended up picking them up from another company. The DS Techeetahs, or there'll be Penske's then, won't there? The Maseratis, the absolute shunt monsters that were. The Nissans, of course, I absolutely love the Nissan livery with the leaf, the maple leaf on the side. Very nice. And, of course, the McLarens. Then the Jaguars of Season 10, these will be now. Nice to see these already out so quick. It's the same castings, of course, of the previous year, so that was quite nice. And then the DS Penske's there. More gold on them this time around, and then once again the Season 10 Nissans, which are really, really nice. Andretti from last year, of course, and then look at where Envision finished in the Constructors that year. Wow, what a fall from grace they had, eh? What a fall from grace. Champion to just about, you know, securing some points ahead of teams that were much slower. The McLaren squad didn't really make much progress that year. And once again, the Maseratis, not a shunty that year. Then, of course, we have the Cupras and the Mahindras of Season 10. And then we have the Season 9 Mahindra there. I believe that one's Edward Mortara. I need the Ollie Rowland one. That's the only model you can get of the Jaguar Season 3 car in little scale, 1/76 scale. I thought I'd get it because at least I've got it then. And then the two ERTs. So the ones I'm missing from Season 9 are Ollie Rowland, of that particular year, of course. I'm definitely missing that. And also the two Neos. I haven't got the Neos of Season 9 either, which I am looking to pick up soon. Then we just come to some oddities. So this is just the Season 5 Gen 2 era car. It was the display model. It was the one that they sent the celebrities round in, so they could go have a couple of practice laps, etc. And then there they are, the Season 5 Gen 2 of the Porsches of Neil Jani and André Lotterer, their first season as a works manufacturer squad in the championship. They are built by Minichamps, but they have to go under a different name because they didn't have the licensing. It's silly. And again, once again, they couldn't get the licensing to have the helmets in them, which again is just a bizarre trait, but that's how it is. So yeah, those are the new models, new additions, particularly on this side, of course. But we do have a few new models on the other side. I really love them, actually. They really stand out. The liveries, I mean, just look at that from that far back. I mean, obviously, I know you're through a camera, but you can really see the gold and the chromes, and they've just got so much character to them. I know they're the same model, but the livery makes such a difference in working and seeing the lines and things, and I just really, really like them. So I'm glad to add them to my collection. I've got the Season 10 grid complete. Doesn't look like Spark are going to be making any of the one-off drives or people that stepped in mid-season, things like that. So it looks like it's just the drivers that started the season will get produced, and that's that. Having said that, though, I do think they've done a Van der Linde in the Cupra from when one of their drivers couldn't take place due to dual programs. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, for the most part, I've got most of the grid. Like I say, I need to get a couple more Season 9 cars, but Season 10 is pretty much complete. And then just the one oddity here and there, such as the Season 5 Massa and Season 8 De Vries, if I can find it. So if you enjoyed this little update, guys, thank you so much for watching. I thought it was worth doing because I've pretty much doubled my capacity of Formula E collecting. I've got enough room there, realistically, for maybe Season 11, and then I'm going to struggle again. But it's always the way with my collections; they get out of hand. I lose space. But yeah, very much enjoying them and looking forward to collecting the models further. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and as always, much love.